Hello everyone, how are we all doing? It's Rebecca here and today I'm bringing you a wrap up. The last wrap up I posted was back in like April time. I have read a number of books since then and I've got some of them to show you today. There's a couple that I'm missing off the list, but without further ado, let's just jump straight into what I've got. So the first one from my wrap up is Fellside by M.R. Carey. This is the same author of The Girl with All the Gifts, which is one of my favourite books, like one of my favourite reads. So when I realised that M.R. Carey had a new book out, I knew I just had to grab it. So Fellside follows Jess, our main character, who is in a prison for a crime that she is certain she didn't commit, but the only problem with that is that she was too doped up to remember what actually happened. So in Fellside, this is basically where Jess lives. She's sentenced to pretty much life imprisonment for murder of a 5-year-old boy in her block of flats. Essentially what happens is there's a crime where the little boy loses his life and she gets the blame. So this follows Jess and her trying to prove her innocence through the help of a dreaming little boy who just happens to be the child that she supposedly killed. Overall, I gave this book a wonderful 4 out of 5 stars, I think it was. I absolutely adored it, lapped it up. It was a little bit creepy in places, but that was expected considering what it's actually about. It's nothing like The Girl with All the Gifts, so if you didn't enjoy The Girl with All the Gifts, I would definitely recommend giving this a go because it's pretty much opposite of The Girl with All the Gifts, if that makes sense. But yeah, this one was fantastic, absolutely loved it and would definitely recommend. The next book I have is a recently read book for me that I absolutely adored again. I don't think there's many books in this wrap-up that I didn't enjoy, and this one is Truth Witch by Susan Dennard. This one was sent to me as there was a couple of spares going at Tor Books, I think it was, yeah. So thank you very much Tor for sending this to me a while ago, a long while ago. If you check my Instagram and scroll down a long way, there's a photo on there from when I received it. So that's how long I've had the book. This one is, again, a great read, which follows Safi and Isolde, and Safi is a truth witch, but nobody knows that she's a truth witch because truth witches are so rare and hunted. Thank you very much, air freshener, that was appreciated. So Safi and Isolde are best friends. They don't live in the same quarters, they might as well, they're basically attached to the hip. And Safi is a truth witch and Isolde is a I want to say she's like a mortician, she's like an outcast of the area. So basically, because they've lived there that long, people don't really notice her as being an outsider anymore. They just sort of go, yeah, she's with that girl, whatever. But they get into a lot of mischief and mayhem, which causes them to flee their hometown, their safe place. So we follow Safi and Isolde as they try to flee from a blood witch who can sense other witchery. So there's Truth Witch, Blood Witch, Air Witch, Wind Witch. There's all these different kind of witches and they basically flee the worst kind. So you follow their story and their journey, and this was a great first in the series. I think I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. It was a great first in the series and I can't wait to get my hands on Wind Witch to read more of Safi and Isolde because yes, power team, just yes. The next one I completed, but it's not really the next one, it's like one of the first ones I completed. But what the next one I've got for you is On the Other Side by Carrie Hope Fletcher. This one is the first fiction, non-fiction, not real life one, lost my words. This one is the first fiction novel from Carrie, and she originally wrote a bio piece called All I Know Now, and that's sort of like a teen advice kind of thing. So in On the Other Side we follow Evie Snow as she is coming to the end of her life. In order to get into heaven, she finds herself outside of her 27-year-old self's flat, and what she needs to do in this instance is release 3 major secrets that she's been hiding her whole life to try and relieve her soul of all the burdens that she's had, and try and make her soul lighter so she can get into heaven. And her door will not open until she's released all of these secrets. So we see Evie in these different scenarios where she goes back in time. She comes across Jim Summers and Vincent Winters, who are 2 very important pivotal people in her life, and there are secrets around them and secrets around Evie, and she has to try and tell everybody all of these secrets so that her soul can be lightened and she can go into heaven, which just happens to be behind her door, her flat 72. One is a very heartwarming story. I really enjoyed it and I'm so pumped to read the second in her series. They're not really a series, they're more of a standalone, but I'm so pumped to read the second book that she's released and I can't wait to get that. But this one is a definite must read for those who love sort of, you know, like the oh kind of stories, the heartwarming stories that make you feel all fuzzy and warm inside. I would definitely recommend this to pretty much anybody that I meet because it's a nice little pick-me-up, and I laughed, I cried, I screamed in anger, and this one was definitely a 5 out of 5 star read for me. Next two I have are books that I've completed but are upstairs and I can't bother to go get them. So the first one is Vicious by V.E. Schwab, and I absolutely adored that book. Victor and Eli are like, I don't know why it took me so long to read V.E. Schwab, but I'm so pleased I did because that was phenomenal, and I'll definitely read some more. That was a 4.5 out of 5 for me, I believe. And the second one is The Beautiful Dead by Belinda Bauer, and I've recently just finished that and completed it and absolutely adored that as well. One follows Eve, I believe her name is, who is a journalist, and she's a crime journalist, so she thrives off the blood and the gore kind of stories, like the murders, the deaths, accidents, all that kind of stuff. She thrives off it, and then all of a sudden she is somehow in touch with a murderer who wants to use Eve's publicity as a way to get his crimes known. Follow Eve and we follow this killer, and yeah, it's just, it's a really, really good read, and I have popped a review on my blog, I believe. So I'll leave all the links to the reviews down below in the comments if they're up on my blog. But I absolutely adored that book as well, and that was a 4.5 out of 5 stars for me. So the next two I have are two that I'm still currently reading. The first one being Under the Dome by Stephen King, which I'm always bloody reading. I've only been reading it about 1.5 years now, but you know, not that far to go. I'm only on 632 of like 870 pages. Not that far to go. This one I'm kind of falling in and out of love with. I've been reading it that long, I forgot what it's about. But it's very political based, so it's kind of like throwing me a little bit, but it's very easy to dip in and out of, if that makes sense, at the same time. So it's a bit of a pain to keep up with, but it's easy to keep picking up and putting down because they're short chapters, and there's breaking points between sort of different stories and different time jumps and things. So hopefully I'll read a little bit more of this and finish this one soon. And the final one is probably a DNF for me, I haven't quite decided, and that is Nimona by Noelle Stevenson. This one is one that everybody seems to rant and rave about and absolutely love. I'm currently on page 82. That's further than I thought I was actually. I'm currently on page 82, and to me at the moment I'm feeling like it's a little bit juvenile for me. That's nothing against the novel and the story and the design or anything like that. It's nothing against the writer or anything at all. It's more to do with the fact that when I first bought this, it was about, I want to say about 12 to 18 months ago now. I have had this a while. I think when I bought it at the time I was like, yeah, get in, graphic novels, I really want to read this graphic novel, it sounds amazing. And then when I'm reading it I'm like, but this seems a little bit childish to me. I think my reading taste has changed a little bit. I'm going to persevere with it and see how I get on, because I read 82 pages in about 3/4 of an hour, so I'll probably be able to fly through this really, really quickly. And there we have it. That's all the books that I've completed in my wrap-up or have left unread or unfinished. But thank you all so much for watching. Have you read any of the books that I've mentioned in my video? If so, let me know down below, we can have a chat. I'll leave all the links to the blog descriptions down below as well, so if there is any sort of further information you want to read, please do go over there. That's not a problem. I'll have a chat with you in the comments there as well. But please note, those reviews may not always be spoiler free. There is a little disclaimer at the top, but it's just to make you aware they might not always be spoiler free. But thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all soon with another video. Bye!